You're still watching Enterprise Friday, and if you're just joining us, this is our main conversation segment. Today, we're turning our attention to the story of a compressed natural gas (CNG) powered Audi 80, which exploded at a filling station on the Benin Auchi Road in Edo State, injuring at least three persons. The explosion occurred in the Ahunwonde local government area, and the victims include the vehicle attendant and a station employee. They were rushed to the University of Benin Teaching Hospital.
Very true. And according to a source, the explosion was caused by a substandard conversion kits and a modified CNG cylinder used in the car's installation. The driver and technician were at the station to test the conversion when the explosion occurred. Many car owners are opting for cheap roadside technicians due to the high cost of official conversions.
The Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative (PCNGI) claimed that the vehicle was illegally modified and emphasized the need for using accredited centers for CNG conversions. A statement from PCNGI highlighted that the cylinder was improperly welded and unsafe for use. Investigations are underway by regulatory authorities, and the PCNGI called for strict compliance with safety regulations and the use of accredited conversion centers to ensure safety in CNG fueling. Our guest for this conversation segment are Shodende Peters, who is joining us physically in the studio. He is a public affairs analyst and a public affairs commentator. Good morning.
Good morning to you,
Yeah, good morning, Joma. Good morning, Nigerians.
We also have virtually Barrister Fred Nzako, attorney at law and development economist in Lagos. Good morning, Barrister.
Thank you. Good morning. Good to be with you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your time. And we also have Felix Tams Iyala, who's also a public affairs commentator from Port Harcourt. Good morning, Felix. Are you there with us?
Thank you very well.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, we'll be getting into the crux of the matter this morning. And I'm going to just read a little background to that particular story. A car powered by compressed natural gas exploded at the Nipco filling station at Benin Auchi Road in Edo State. An eyewitness said no fewer than three persons were rushed to the hospital. And we learned that the passengers, those hospitalized passenger of another vehicle, pop attendant, another employee of the station. Now, I'll be starting with you, Barrister. In a country where the federal government are actually pressurizing and advising its citizens to turn their cars to CNG powered, in a time where we now have an exuberant price rate for our fuel, is this the best way to handle the high cost of fueling in the country, or there are better options that they could explore aside from advising and actually pressurizing its citizens to turn their cars to CNG cars? Barrister.
Thank you. Let's lay a very good foundation to explain to our listening viewers some concepts. When we say CNG, what does it mean? CNG means compressed natural gas. Compressed natural gas. It is used as fuel to propel or power some machines, which include, of course, your car. Now, it is an alternative to petrol, the regular PMS, premium model spirits, or the one we call petrol. But for the mechanism to work, because most of the vehicles that have been coming to Nigeria are built to use petrol. So for you to now convert the use from petrol to compressed natural gas CNG, you have to change certain parameters in the vehicle. Most of you change certain things in the engine, that will to accommodate the CNG. You have to also change the storage tank so that it will be wired and connected to the engine. It is because of that conversion that we now have this unfortunate incidents. It is important that three people are injured, but if you look at the day of injury, it was very serious. One person's molar was ripped open. The other person's leg was amputated, was blown off, and then the other person, the person suffered very serious injury in the eye. So these are very serious injuries. And if you look at the remains of the unfortunate car that got exploded, you will see that it was a serious explosion. As if it was a bomb explosion. And of course, you will recall that sometime in the past, in the late 90s, when there was problem in Ghana, when there was challenge of violence in Ghana, some people use the gas cylinders, regular cooking gas cylinders, and converted them to bombs. They will open the gas cylinder, and when it is leaking, they will throw it into the house and shoot something that will ignite it like fire and bullets. And by the time the gas cylinder exploded, the whole house went down. So that tells you the capacity of damage that can happen when the wrong cylinder is put in any environment. And that's why it's really advised that gas cylinders, cooking gas cylinders should be kept outside the home where it will be taking some breeze and will not lead to compression that will lead to explosion. Now we are not talking about the compression itself being in the boot of somebody's car. So it is a very big challenge that in doing a compression, we did have aggregate combustion techniques as a control. We also did not have adequate information about where good combustion can be done. The government has not looked at provisions, and because of the continuous increase in the price of petrol, people are now tempted to go and do this kind of combustion without taking all due technical and engineering procedures. And of course, you will see that the backlash will be what we saw in Belize today. And that is a very big unfortunate incident that should be an eye-opener to Nigerians about the challenges that we are still going to face on account of the rush to CNG because of the continuous increase in the price of petrol. It is a very big responsibility.
Are you still there, Barrister? All right, I think we're having a bit of a technical issue there, glitch. But so let's move on to.
The Regulation Action Committee, companies are invested enough, they want to thank them with National Education Agency. The National Education Agency was supposed to be put in the picture so that Nigerians will be adequately taught.
All right, so are you still there with us, Barrister? I'll let you to hold your thought
On what should be put. The system is putting the horse, the cart before the bus.
All right, beautiful. Thank you so very much. Mr. Iyala, I'd love to ask you. Barrister talked about the challenges, of course, that go on with the conversion itself. The federal government are asking Nigerians to seek alternative to CNG as much as we understand and we believe that it is eco-friendly. But of course, when it comes to leadership, you lead by example. How do you see a situation where leaders haven't converted their own cars to CNG, but asking Nigerians to do the same?
Thank you for having me. Our esteemed viewers too, thank you for listening. My point to this issue is very simple. You don't give what you don't have. The leadership of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that is requesting Nigerians to use CNG buses, just like you mentioned, from the presidency to the Senate to the judiciary, the heads of these agencies and parastatals and forms of government, how many of them are using CNG cars? Putting the ox before the cart. The system in which they are asking us, because of the price of petroleum products, to revert to CNG buses. What is the level of education? What is the level of awareness in Nigerians? Many fully aware of that. Gases explosions sometimes are even more dangerous than the petrol they are running away from. If if you are talking about the cost of petrol, PMS, as it were, today, is the gas that relatively cheaper? How much is a kilo of gas? So for me, it is neither here nor there. We cannot say that the CNG policies is what will take us to El Dorado. I've gone through the presidential initiative for compressed natural gas document. I actually see nothing that is too meaningful, that is too scintillating, that is too good for Nigerians. What is eco-friendly? When you say it is eco-friendly, what do you mean by eco-friendly? Are we saying that those gases that came out from our exhaust pipes as a result of using fuel are not too good and that destroy the ecosystem?
Exactly.
The gas system will not bring up any flame or any gas or any sort of smoke that will make the ecosystem too friendly. And we talk about the adverse effects of these compressed natural gases. Where are the technicians that have been trained to start taking care of this compressed natural gas from oil filling stations across the 36 states of the Federation and that of the FCT and the local areas? For example, I come from a locality called Africa in Rivers State. If you're asking me to convert my car to a compressed natural gas, who is the technician that is going to do that in that locality? The fuel or the gas attendant at the fuel station, how well is he educated to know fully well that the gas cylinder I've come with that is in my boots is good enough to accommodate the required amount of gas that I need to move my car from point A to point B? Where are the government approved CNG operators? I heard that the cylinder that got blown up in Edo State was welded by maybe a welder or something. Did some approve of that? So the system is not properly taken care of. They are pushing us to go into a system that has not been properly prepared for its takeoff.
All right.
There are stages for taking off of a team. There are stages of taking off a team. You must give adequate preparation to all of these things before ever we can go into. So I believe that the country is in a hurry doing all of these things. And therefore, what we will keep on seeing is a repeated occurrences of this nature of things. Whenever it will happen again. Because Nigeria has naturally love cutting costs. So if you go to any cook and any welder to weld a CNG gas for them and go to the filling station and be doing all of these things. Now again, you are converting a car to CNG that was already using a PMS situation, a PMS system. The boat cannot adequately work perfectly. In the civilized world, where these things are in operation, you will understand that the mechanical system of those cars, as it were, has nothing to do with PMS.
Beautiful.
Has no fuel situation in them.
Thank you.
When a gas is passing through where a fuel has passed before, over time, it will ignite.
Very true.
If you go to the filling station where these gases are being kept, you will observe that there is a water tank on top of the gas cylinder, the big gas cylinders, where they sell to retailers. What does the water do? The water pours on top of these gas cylinders over time to cool it to temperature, to enable convection not to take place.
All right. Thank you so
Our
much.
car goods do not have such a conducive environment where ACs are cooling the gas cylinders for explosions not to take place. So in a nutshell, what I want to say is that the process of converting from PMS to a compressed natural gas into our goods are not been taken care of properly because our cars needed to be more modified to accommodating this new situation. And unless we come with adequate education and the necessary information, these occurrences will keep on happening.
All right. Thank you so. Thank you so very much. Yes, Mr. Peters, I think it's very important that we make some certain points here clear. Of course, there are differences between the cooking gas that we use and the compressed natural gas. You know? So it's very important that we put that information clear there. But I'd love to ask you, just like Mr. Iyala did say, mechanically, when you have systems that were ab initio created to use fuel, then abruptly converted to use some other form of fueling, do you think the efficiency would be maintained there?
Thank you once again for having me. On that matter, there's nothing technology cannot do. I can confirm to you that having a CNG gas cylinder and system in your car is not rocket science. Nigeria is not the first country that will test it, and Nigeria will not be the last to test it. The problem we have in Nigeria is we lack proper planning. We rush into things. If the federal government knew very well that it's going to be CNG, they're going to be marketing for people for reduction to pushing for the effect of the increase in fuel price. We should have had this initiative maybe a year before subsidies removed, so that at least, you need to first work with data. How many cars do we have?
Exactly.
How many trucks do we have? How many moves people per day? Which one are we going to face first? Which ones will come last? So all this data were not there. Government just came and felt this is the best. Just like you said, CNG, compressed natural gas for cars is about 2,230 naira per kg, unlike a cooking gas that is over 8,000 naira now. So they are very different. I even read from one man who said he used CNG all the way from Lagos to Ibadan and spent less than 2,000 naira of the gas he bought. So it's not as if it is rocket science to work, as long as you have the required kits and they are fitted by professionals. If you go online now, the federal government has it there, the number of centers where you can take your car and fix CNG. Most NIPCO filling stations, I think, are doing that. But the main thing there is this: how many are available? What information is available to the people? So that I don't miss your question, it is 100% possible to use, it's just called hybrid. They modify it from petrol, bypass the pipe where the gas will work. It's just like when we have our generators.
Yes.
So many people now have this plug and play they use to connect to gas rather than petrol. Has anything happened to our generator? No. But the problem now is Nigerian businessmen, we want to take advantage. Everybody imports anything from anywhere, begin to fix anything. Okay, imagine, let us even take out this car. Imagine all this type of yellow buses we have in Lagos. Fitting CNG into those type of vehicles that on a good day, even their petrol tanks, those vehicles are gone.
Yeah.
They are not even supposed to be on the road. So that is my own worry. That it is not even private cars. Private cars can always, if I were a bank now or a financial institution, you just partner with the government, bring it in, make loans available for people to do it, and they pay over time. The federal government can also do that. But the main thing here is we need data and we need planning. If we rush into these things, we will have more of that. As that one exploded now, some other people will be like, okay, what did he do to explode? Let me do my own. Maybe I will not weld it. I will import tank, then I will go and do one wire to pass the. Imagine the type of pipe you are going to use to carry gas from the engine into the cylinder. They are not ordinary pipes. They are pipes that will withstand heat.
Yeah.
But here we do not think about that. Everybody just wants to make money, and before you know anything, disaster. So I think the federal government has work to do here. As long as you want to make people come to CNG, you also need to make those kits available. It is because they are not available off the shelf. That is why you see everybody trying to make it available and make information available to people.
Thank you.
It will work.
Thank you, Shedenge Peters. Barrister, back to you now. At this point, we were talking about the availability. Let's also look at the financial aspect of it. Can we say the federal government really have the citizens in mind if the process to actually install this and the finances involved is over ₦1 million? And looking at the current state of the country, how many can we say, okay, can afford this? Because it's true that some persons can actually get to afford a car, but can they actually afford to do this CNG installation in their car? We're looking at the price the federal government is proposing for this.
How much did you say the cost will be? Is it over ₦1 million?
That's over ₦1 million.
It is actually 1.3 million for cars.
For cars.
For SUVs,
So that tells you, that tells you that I have to agree with my friend in the studio who said that government has not prepared enough ground for this program to be launched. And people, how many people can afford it? The commercial buses that ply the roads that are more in number than the private vehicles, how many of them, the vehicles themselves are even worth that amount? So the cost of conversion will be bigger than the cost of the vehicle that you are converting.
Yes.
So it becomes a very big irony. So while we are battling with the issue of finance, we are also battling with the issue of adaptability. Our environment is climatic environment that is hot. Unlike in Europe and in most parts of America. And if you take America, you see that they don't use a lot of these CNG facilities. You see a lot of CNG facilities in Europe. So that is really another aspect that we need to worry about. Because our temperate environment, the heat in our environment, does it support the CNG? If the atmosphere it does, then that means we must be very careful in utilization of the materials for the production of the gas tanks. Because if you don't, then there will be a challenge. When we now come out of that, we are talking about the issue of finance. It is in order to save cost that must have led that man to go and consult his local fabricator. The technicalities and the technology of food production need to be made open to people and get some more hands trained so as they help others. And then make available the locations where they will be done. The chairman of the president of Labour Congress has said that even those who have the already fitted gas tanks are finding it difficult to locate the stations where to refuel, where to refuel their gases. So there is a lot of training, a lot of information dissemination, and a lot of technical know-how that needs to come before this program is adequately embraced the way and manner the federal government is talking about it. And if government is not ready to subsidize the fixing of those tanks, I tell you that there will be a lot more casualties than we imagine. Because if eventually it becomes a public domain, that the cost of the CNG is so cheap that will carry you from Lagos to Benin. I can tell you that almost everybody will want to go and fix that, at least even to move around within the cities, and they will not start hearing and seeing explosions here and there. So there is a lot to be done to save the lives of Nigerians who are pushed by poverty and deprivation and the high cost of living to go and take risks that are not worth it. It is important that the government should look very critically into that. So when they set up a committee to look into the causes and all the issues regarding the explosion, government should be able to know their own line of responsibility and the way and manner they will have to help the citizens.
All right, thank you so very much. Mr. Yala, I would love to ask you, as much as we do not pray for casualties and of course have the repetition of what had just happened in Edo State, I would love to ask you, you're coming from an oil-rich community. What do you think about all of this? Because if compared to other oil-rich nations, Libya is at war as we speak, but the cost of fuel, PMS, is far lower than what it is today in Nigeria and other oil-rich countries. So what do you have to say about this issue, especially as regards refining fuel in our country, in Nigeria?
Well, thank you very much. It's a simple thing. More local refiners should be given license to operate in Nigeria. More local refiners should be given license to operate in Nigeria. NNPC should be unbundled. Dangote has come on stream. Other persons should be given licenses to operate oil. the locals where this oil comes from. If you go to those communities, there are some sorts of oil exploration activities ongoing in a crude and not too professional manner. Why all of these things are happening is as a result of the clamp down on what government call oil theft and what have you. But if these young men are called together, discussed with, given licenses to operate at their level with some sorts of government regulation on them to do what is right, there will be more availability of petroleum products. The issue here is that it's not as if there is no crude oil in Nigeria. There is crude oil in Nigeria. But the mechanisms, the outputs, the ways of refining these products are limited. But that refinery as it were is undergoing turnaround maintenance for the past 2, 3, 4, 5 years. It is not still in operation. What about Warri? What about Kaduna? So we find out that refineries are not working in Nigeria is a big or major problem to availability of petroleum products. Now, if we have refineries that are working in Nigeria, of course, the issue of scarcity will not be there. Then, government regulation, the government need to remove our hands from over taxation of petroleum products. We know it is the mainstay of the economy, but you have to do some certain things in form of subsidizing these things for the people to operate with. But let me tell you something. You cannot totally remove subsidy from petroleum products. Its adverse effects will trickle down to the product you buy in the market. How many people, you are talking about, some people are talking about NLC, demanding for increments in wages and all that. How many Nigerians are working? How many are working with government established agencies, parastatals, and ministries? Most persons are private persons. And how much do they earn in a day or in an hour? If you break down the minimum wage as it were today, 70,000 naira or 80,000 naira for one individual, bring it down to 1 liter of fuel. If that person is buying fuel to drive from point A to point B, you find out that everybody is using the entire minimum wage for purchase of fuel. And what is the cost of this thing not being available? Is it that we don't have crude oil in Nigeria? We have crude oil. The problem is the process of refining this crude oil to other byproducts. The mechanisms, the processes are not there. So the government should allow for private persons to come into the system, deregulate the system, give licenses to people to operate, get these products out for people to use.
Thank you, Felix.
I think there is petroleum product everywhere. CNG issues will not be coming up.
Very true.
Thank you. Thank
It will not be coming up. And the federal government has removed subsidy. There are no palliatives to removal of subsidy. You've removed subsidy, so that the adverse effect is on Nigerians. And if Nigerians do not do anything, if the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the government as it were, do not do anything to mitigating this effect, in fact, the gains we've made through the subsidy regime will be even be removed economically.
Thank you. Thank you.
So the country will be going backward as it were. So my answer to your question is that federal government should give licenses for more persons to operate the petroleum industry so that there will be availability of these products for everybody to use when and how they want to use it.
All right.
Okay, thank you so much, Felix. Shola Peters, let's come back to you now. At this point where a lot of Nigerians have actually seen and witnessed the side effect of not properly installing the CNG in the cars or in the buses, do you think a lot of Nigerians at this point will trust the process and want to still go ahead to go through or change their PMS cars to CNG cars?
Yes, the government has come out to, in fact, the technician who fitted that one was also there to say, yes, I did it wrongly, and that is the effect. You see, I don't personally have a problem with the CNG option. The problem I have is the government did not plan. You see, if you do not make a solution available for people, the counterfeit solution will sell more and faster than your own original solution. it's just like drugs. You find out until Dora Akunyili came, because most times the original ones were not available for people. So people started doing a whole lot of, and before you know anything, people were dying. I personally do not think people should be swayed away from testing the CNG option. At least I have seen quite a number of it working perfectly without issues. But just like the barrister said, we know our temperatures, we know quite a whole lot of things. My own fear are just these vehicles that commute many number of people from here, from point A to point B. Those vehicles are not actually even roadworthy. Before you can talk of converting a car from to make it hybrid, that means use both petrol and your CNG. I think there are cars from certain years, maybe 2012 thereabouts, because technology also changes with time. So most of the vehicles that move people from point A to point B, especially in Lagos where we have all these yellow Volkswagen, very old buses, I am scared that they should not be allowed. They should never be allowed to pass through. Aside the fact that even the petrol they buy, you can see sometimes when they open their tanks, they will use something to lock it like So there are people, because it is always safety first.
Yes,
safety first in everything. Imagine if you look at the trucks Dangote uses nowadays, between the driver and the container behind, carrying cement or anything, you will see the gas cylinders. There is a compartment for it. Well fitted. That means he has planned where he will put it, how the technology will work. But go and look at most of these trucks that carry containers here and there. Imagine the ones that took petrol, killed about thousands in Jigawa. Imagine he now has gas together with the tanker. So you see, the problem exactly is not whether people will trust it. The problem is most car owners in this country that have good cars, they can always fit in as long as it is done by professionals and the standards. Even at 1.3 million, there are still some people in this country today, if they see the right kit, they will go there and fix. But the problem is, are they available? If they are available and trusted, why not? You can create, federal government created 6 centers in Lagos, over 20 million people with about 8 million cars. When will that go around? It's impossible. So I think it's in a rush. That is why if we are not careful, more of this will happen.
All right. Just before we drop our anchor, Barrister, I would love to ask you. Let's maybe look at it from another vantage point, and of course, leadership efficiency in our country. India, a country from where Bola Ahmed Tinubu borrowed the technology from, because he has often cited that India have done it and therefore we can do it. India's conversion to CNG was not necessarily because they lacked BMS, but because the pollution in the environment was so bad that they needed CNG to control that. So when our president applies a magic wand on a solution that needs very simple solution, do you think efficiency in leadership is accountable?
Well, it is good that you mentioned India as
A reference.
being a place where we follow this technology. Don't forget that not only that the CNG utilization enhances cleaner and safer ecosystem. That is the one major advantage it has, apart from the issue of cost. Now the whole world is crying about climate change. It's important that we do things that will help our own climate and our own environment and our own ecosystem. Some of the vehicles that we fly here are so reflective that the smoke that emits from the exhaust system is not friendly to the environment and very dangerous for human inhalation. Yes, it is good that we look into the CNG alternative, but we have to also ensure that all the safety valves are pulled and all the safety measures put in place, so that we don't run away from frying pan and end on fire. And with the cost of each cost of installation, it makes it unattractive to most people who already have these vehicles. Some people will look at how much will it cost me, even at 1,200 naira per liter of petrol, before I consume 1.3 million naira worth of petrol. When they do that calculation, then they will say to her with CNG. So government should not only be looking at issues of finance. When they looking at people, we have to also look at the issue of health and the environment. But when we look at health and environment, we have to also contemplate on about safety. Because with this inflation of Benin, we can send very mixed signals to Nigerians about the safety of utilization of the CNG tanks. Because so many people will easily come to the conclusion that it is unsafe.
That's true.
When many of them do not understand what happened and why it happened, they will not want to touch that CNG combustion at all because of inadequate knowledge and information as per the locations where they will convert and all other things concerning the combustion. So it is something that government here has to do a lot of work. And when I say government, I mean the 3 tiers of government led by the federal, the state, and then the local government, because at every level, in every community, in every village, there are vehicles that will require this. It is not compulsory for anyone to do that, but economic and financial consideration will make it almost compulsory, almost very attractive for people to think about the combustion. So with this thing that happened in Benin, people will now begin to think twice about the safety standards applicable to that.
Thank you,
So when you talk about this show, it is important that it is taken holistically, not only in terms of the cost of CNG itself, but also the cost of utilization and the cost of safety and health of the citizens.
Thank you, Barrister. Thank you so much. Felix, can we just get your parting shot because of our time? Let's get your wrap up on
30 seconds.
Yeah, in 30 seconds, please.
Well, the point is, we are not used to the CNG buses for now, the CNG thing for now. So it is very difficult adapting to a new situation. My thought is that there should be adequate education, information, and centers for the CNG filling stations around local governments of all local governments, so that people can make use of it with adequate information. Otherwise, we'll keep on moving from one things to another negatively if there's no proper education.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Felix. Tashuda Independence.
Okay, my parting shot is in the 3 parts. Number 1 is for the government. When you don't plan well, you plan to fail. You need to rejig this CNG stuff and make those kits available, the original ones, so that you don't have more of what has happened. And number 2, to our people, please let us learn from experiences. You have seen one that has happened in Benin now. Maybe it's just a warning sign for all of us. Anytime you want to fit, be sure that you are at the right place and using the right kits. And finally, to finance corporations, this is how to do business. This is how to make money. Partner with the government, invest in this technology, bring in more of it, so that the more you have of it, the cheaper the prices become. And at the end of the day, we may all benefit from it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much.
Yeah.
All right, Choma.
Say thank you.
Yeah, thank
We're
you.
ready to actually turn your kind to CNG.
Well, I was still looking at it. I do not know where my turn would even get to, because there are about 11,200,000 cars in Nigeria. It takes between 2 weeks to 3 weeks to have that conversion properly done. So imagine having 11 million cars in Nigeria converted.
Only 6 cents.
It will take close to 50 years before it goes round.
Please. Okay, so that's all on the program today. I'd like to thank all our guests for joining us and to make sense of all the issues we've dealt with today. Thank you, Felix Iyala, for your time. Thank you, Barrister Zako. Thank you, Mr. Shida Fitas. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
And of course,
Yeah.
thank you so much, sir. And of course, you, the viewer, you can also join in by leaving a comment in the session and subscribe to our pages across social media. We are at Enterprise TV 7. And you can also visit our website, www.enterprisetvnews.com. Until the next episode, and from all of us here, bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.